What's up, Hippo lovers? The last Hera coaching I did book 18 hours, 18 in the books. And if you want to find all the old episodes, there are some pretty good ones all on my YouTube. And this one will be roughly a 2.5 hour, 3 hour session where Hera analyzes my best of 20 all the RM games against Doubt. This is pre-recorded by him, and I will just talk over it, give my thoughts as well, and maybe talk a bit about what I learned here. The chat will be live down below, and I also want to say something else. The full video, link in the description. Let's just take a look at what he has to say.
Hello, Hippo lovers. Today we're going to be going through the Billy versus Doubt games, random map games played in the Doubt 20 game show match, or Billy versus Doubt 20 game show match. So obviously the random map score was not too pretty, but 10 games ahead of us here. Actually, I haven't really watched these games before, so I'm going to be going into them fresh. I just know kind of the score, and I'll take off the webcam later, so don't stress if I get into the games. Yeah, so I'm going to be just going through them, trying to see where the mistakes were made, if there's any repeating mistakes, so there probably is, any bad habits, that kind of thing, and just try to see where we can improve here, pretty much. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. I mean, I'm looking at the Civ matchups here. They all seem pretty good Civs, so even Civs. So like every game is winnable pretty much, just right off the bat. And so there's definitely gonna be mistakes in the games we lose, that kind of stuff. So let's just hop into it here. Webcam.
Okay.
During the games, go for it. So
I'm replacing him now.
Yeah, let's hop into game one here and see what's happening. And it's going to be Aztec War. As usual, I'll just fast forward when I think the game is lost. I'm not trying to waste your time, pretty much. The idea is just to find where it went wrong or where it went right, I guess you can say. So we're just at 75 speed. So right away, we're playing an Aztec Mirror. Obviously, all these games are on Arabia, so it's a good thing.
His sponsors!
So yeah, it's gonna be an Aztec War, which is a very classic matchup. Honestly, the way I think about Aztec War,
what's happening here?
Okay, that should be a little bit better. Yeah, so the way I think about Aztec War is, I think that Drush FC is okay, but it's probably too easy to punish because of how strong Aztec Meta Arm followed by range units can be in Feudal Age because of their passive production. So from my experience, you probably want to open Men at Arms or at least rush into feudal play. I think FC is a little bit risky, at least more risky than it is in say my and mirror match, where I think FC is probably the ideal strategy there. So we'll see how it plays out. By the way, I'm going to look at your map here and just take a look at what you're going for. 300 wood for now is fine. I mean, probably should be 4, or at least 4 very soon. Throwing deer is not too bad either. I mean, your map seems really good, actually. Really good amount of wood lines, easy to wall on the sides, and you're gonna have no problems.
So maybe I can tell you, we already discussed, is it a good thing that I went for the forward gold or the back gold? Doubt said I should have gone for the forward gold. I personally think I should have gone for the back gold, and I think I should have towered.
Back gold as well. The only problem is these 2 golds in the front. But even this is kind of easy to defend. Like, there's no hills, so especially in a mirror match, you should be really fine with this map. Like, no complaints at all. Third one deer, and then you went to scouts. So honestly, I love your start so far. No complaints. Take a look at your scouting real quick. Yeah, I mean, scouting is good. You're not going to really be making many mistakes at this point. At least you shouldn't. Scouting is very good. So if you guys don't know what I look for when I look at scouting, I'm looking at, did Nilly find his resources? He found 3 golds, 2 stones, and obviously all his sheep and boar. So this is, in my opinion, a job well done with the scouting. He went immediately to Doubt, of course. So let's take a look at the opening. So it looks like Nilly is going to be going for Men at Arms, which is, like I said, pretty solid for Aztec War, especially when the 2 opponents or when the 2 players are.
His microphone isn't great, right? But we can carry it.
Kind of close. Like the golds on the front, berries on the front. Well, I guess the main goes at the back, but yeah, there's a lot of damage that could happen here. It looks like that's also going for Men at Arms. Yeah, this is how I picture Aztec War as well. I think Men at Arms is a pretty solid opening here. Okay, so let's see what happens. Going for 4 militia, not a bad option. 2 lumber camps, yeah, that's pretty solid. I mean, the thing about 4 militia, the reason I kind of dislike this is that it looks like that's actually adding in a 5th. The reason I don't really like 4 militias, or anything more than 3 is I think that 3 does the job. And if you add in 4th, sure, you can contest fight a little bit in the center. I feel like 3 does the job just as well, and then you can add a range behind like faster, because you can, you know, you might not need an extra farm or something like that to make that next militia. So you can add the range faster, and then the archers will come out a little bit quicker. So it's not a mistake to go for 4 or 5. It's just kind of a personal preference, just something to keep in mind. But yeah, now if you see your opponent has 5,
Which I didn't.
I would fight actually. No, man-at-arms kicking in. Yeah, so you're just fighting with one below. I think if you had militia, you could have fought, but as soon as he goes man-at-arm, you should probably run. Like, it's better to run than to lose your army like this. Yeah. So I would trade when he's still militia, and then as soon as he gets man-at-arms, he has the extra one, so you just go back.
Yeah, I never thought he would go for 5.
Yeah, the range comes down. Overall, it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal at all. So if you take a look at what Doubt's economy is looking like, he obviously made an extra man-at-arms, so he's having a little bit of trouble keeping everything going. A little bit out of 10 there. But he's getting his range down. Honestly, your economy is way smoother. Like, you have more food in the bank and stuff, so as long as you don't take damage to these now, you're in a good position, in my opinion. We came out with 1 less man-at-arm. And again, this advantage is only amplified once you get... okay. You repaired. Nice. Good job. This advantage is only amplified as well.
It's funny, right? How Hera thinks Doubt has 5 military units more left, and he thinks I'm in a better spot. That really shows you how unimportant melee units are at the moment in Age of Empires. Because I can just wall this one, and he doesn't really get the advantage.
Well, if you go for the 3 man-at-arms, you just have a way better eco. You get the fletching faster. And what is he doing now? He's idling 1 vill for like 10, 15 seconds. Okay, 2 villagers. Once you get an archer out, then that's it. These guys do no more damage, 0 damage done. So I don't know. I'm not convinced about adding man-at-arms. It's not something I think actually matters more often than not, because of how efficient walls are these days, and because of how fast the archers come out in these kind of builds. I would much prefer having the eco. You got raided. The next step is to check your idols. Let's see how long that takes you. Good damage with the eagle. He'll just go back and heal. And right now, what you should be looking to do is actually get some buildings in front of your gold. Okay, you're forced to make your range here. I understand that, and that's why it's a fine move, because he had the men-at-arms. But now that he doesn't have the men-at-arms, look at how much time you have. Now you need to actually wall this up. And this is just a basic concept. You have to secure your map. And you're doing it on this side, which is good. You know, fletching coming in now, it's good. Maybe even mix 1 skirmisher. And there we go, range on the front. This is good. If I were you, I would probably position my archers on this side. You're not doing anything here. He can't do damage here, really. Oh, I guess you can walk to your gold, but if you just send 1 vill to make some walls here, this is the main. This is where he's going to attack, the front, the gold. Feels like you could be walling faster. You're walling with 1 vill. Okay, now you're walling with this vill. This is good. So now, I guess you're exposed on the back, which you have to keep in mind. And now you're trying to wall it, yeah. Okay, this is fine. I don't mind this. Yeah, I definitely don't mind this. Vill count's about even, so there's no crazy idle time for either player.
Or the same amount.
Okay. He's moving forward. Yeah, he has some skirmishers. The thing about Mesa War is that skirmishers don't really work. Like, what you should do now is mix in 1 eagle, and you'll be fine. He's also lacking fletching. What's wrong with his economy? He's going super greedy mode. He doesn't have a... He's getting his blacksmith now. He have way more army, though. He had the second range faster and the fletching in earlier. Skirms do produce it slightly faster than archers, though, I believe. Yeah, now Eagle Scout comes out immediately now that he has his skirmishers. Really good reaction. I'd say this is fine for you. Micro is okay. I mean, probably should pull those vills back, but this is the problem, yeah. Yeah, this is the loss right here. You actually knew he had the men-at-arms, but you kind of got overwhelmed because you didn't wall fast enough. Yeah, so those men-at-arms that I said should not do more damage ended up kind of winning him the game, because he got 2 vills now in a mirror match for free. And now you're stuck chasing with villagers and stuff. I do like that you're fighting with villagers here, though, but probably chasing a bit too far. This is too much, yeah. Just send 2 vills. That's all I need. 2 vills, so we'll push them back. You don't need to go with 6. So, honestly, what I'm seeing here is that you're just getting overwhelmed. If you wanted to avoid this in general, what you can do is literally just wall earlier. There's not really a reason to delay the walls to what you did. Like, you could have easily walled this side, and then had your army patrolling back and forth here. If you're patrolling before he gets there, it's gonna be really hard for him to take a fight, even if he has the skirmishers. Keep in mind, he didn't have fletching when he was advancing. And now you're kind of just tunnel visioning on the archers. Whereas if you mix in a couple scrims, you would have been fine. Although I personally would like to mix in eagles. I think that's the better choice. Mix in eagles. That's what you're doing, which is good. But a couple scrims don't hurt as well. Good micro. Eagles coming out soon. At this point, you need to try and hit the archers. There we go. Okay. I mean, you're not doing that bad a job considering everything. I mean, the reason why you're losing at this point is simply because of the meta-arms, and they got into there because you didn't wall in time. Even though you knew about the meta-arms, you knew the meta-arms were around, but you just took so long into walling your map. I felt it was uncomfortable. I mean, you still didn't wall your gold. You can easily run in here with a few archers, and okay, you pick off one archer or one villager, and then he can run back. Your map just feels a little bit awkward to play. However, it's a perfect map if you just full walled. Like if you just full walled earlier, you would have been 100% safe, and then his skirmishers would have just delayed his castle time, nothing else. But now you're letting him get so much damage with the skirmishers. So honestly, if you just fully walled this map, and maybe like kept the archers around to hit the men-at-arms, or as soon as you see the men-at-arms, bring your archers there, but like fully walled the front with a couple of vills, the game would have been a lot different. In fact, I think you would have been in a much better position because you didn't invest into that many men-at-arms. And then behind this, he obviously only went one range, and he's gonna go eagles now. Yeah, this game is pretty much over now. He would just kill you with eagles. I definitely think it's a mistake to not fully wall there, especially when you had a map this good. I mean, okay, now you're gonna go for a tower, so I mean the damage is done at this point. Like you already lost 2 villagers in a mirror match. You're far behind. He has still the pressure on you. You haven't moved out of your base once, and he has the fastest castle time behind it all. Only by a little bit, but okay, now you know he's gonna go eagles. But yeah, at this point the game is over anyways. Yeah, I had a feeling. So yeah, GG. If I had to just like recap the few mistakes I saw this game, I mean, overall, there was some sloppiness because you were getting pressured and it was attacking on 2 sides, but that's fine. Like, I think you reacted pretty well to the pressure, but I think you just made the game really hard on yourself. Much better it would be just to wall up with multiple villagers, especially in the areas that are sensitive to the men-at-arms. I don't know. I don't remember where you saw them go, but you for sure knew he had men-at-arms, and you walled this side fast. You just did at the same time wall this side, and then also walled the front. There's no reason not to wall here. It's just such small gap. You would have been so fine, so fine. And then your archers can deal with the few men-at-arms. You obviously made like 4 or 5 archers, and then by the time he attacks you with skirmishers, well, you're fully walled. And then, like I said, you have the faster castle time with archers, and archers will or crossbows will beat eagles in early castle age anyway. And if he's gonna go all in eagles, you just go defensive crossbows, you know, crossbows, siege, monks, whatever you need to do to defend. He might forward teach you. That's why the monks can come in. Whatever you need to do to defend behind your walls, and then the eagles will eventually die out. Because if you want to go 3 barrack eagle, it's 1 TC play. So if he does that, and like let's say you fully wall, you don't take damage. He goes skirmishers, he delays his castle time, then he goes all in castle age with the eagles. You can just do like 2 TC and then just defend with everything, and then you know the game should be favorable for you, especially with the back gold, safe stone. Yeah, it's such a good map here, but you just left it open. Let's see if you make that mistake in later games. Yeah, it just came down to the KD. If you take a look at the economy as well, I mean, yeah, he had more eco, but probably because you idled a lot of villagers and whatnot. Yeah, I'd say the game was like pretty even though at some points. Like you only lost when the men-at-arms did damage pretty much, and when you didn't wall up the front.
Someone in the chat asked, do you think tower rush could have been an option? I had the defensive gold in stone, so I could just run back. It's him not allowing himself to boom. He kind of has to play castle age all in then. So I think that would have been the bad option with me having a defensive gold. If I have all 3 golds aggressively, I think that could have been an option. Clemenza said, wouldn't the 3 villager wall set you back quite significantly? That's why I only walled with so few villagers, because I felt that's the case. Maybe then I need to go into more skirmishes. Hera wanted to go for the front gold. You just rewatch it and you will see what he said.
You didn't track the men-at-arms and then you left the front open. Go to game 2 here. Right, so Chinese versus Franks, a matchup that should heavily favor the Chinese in my opinion. I think Franks are actually quite bad these days. Let's fast forward the Dark Age here. Yeah, I think so. The first thing you obviously think about is the matchup. As usual, you guys are probably bored of me saying that, but yeah. So you think of the matchup, Franks. I mean, what are they really good for? They have a good economy, sure. They have good knights, okay. And obviously a scout rush early on. I mean, early on they could do anything. They go to scouts, men.
Raiding party!
Artemis, hey yo! We're doing a coaching session at the moment. Hera is coaching me, and this is pre-recorded. Our commentary is live.
Then come late game, this is the problem. Come late game, oh, that's sloppy. For a Chinese start, that's really sloppy. You have some idle time now. Come late game, the big problem with Franks is that, okay, they go for Cavalier or Paladin, but then they have really nothing to counter Halbs. The Arbalest Halb kind of destroys Franks, to be honest. Okay, sure, they have hand cannons, they have Strong Axemen, but those are very expensive options, and both those options die to Arbalest. So, with Chinese, what I'm thinking here is you want to play whatever you want in the early game, and then in mid game you want to be playing with crossbows and monks, and then come late game you want to be playing Arbalest into Halbs. That will destroy Franks 9 out of 10 times. If I'm Franks in this matchup, I probably think I have to do something in Castle Age or the early game, which is possible because actually your map this time is quite bad. You have 3 forward golds, and I mean you can wall the sides. It's not terrible, but it's gonna require you to do something to have a good feudal age, good early game to defend this. All right, so pretty sloppy start. You have a safety here, which is nice. Sending him the goats, well played. Sportsmanship, I like it. And yeah, your Chinese start was really sloppy though. Like, you barely have a vill lead. You have a 1 vill lead now, and then an extra one when he gets the boom. Now you have like a 1 vill lead, even though you should have like 1.5 to 2 even. So a bit of a sloppy start from Chinese, but I think the Civ is so strong in mid game, especially in the
Before Loom, I shouldn't have a 2 villager advantage. No.
this matchup that you should still probably be
After
winning. Hey. Fast forward here. So again, if I'm Franks here, I probably want to do something in early game, either early feudal age or in Castle Age to punish your forward golds. Looks like you're gonna open scouts. I don't mind that. So normally opening scouts for Franks is a bit dubious, but with Chinese, I feel like you can kind of get away with it. Yeah, moving out. This is unlucky. It's a simple mistake. It happens to anyone. It's a bit unlucky. Got caught with your scouts and you're obviously later. Did it to feudal age. That's it. So now you basically, let's see what you know actually. You basically know what he's gonna do because you saw the barracks early and you saw the uptime. And Franks, we can just all assume he's gonna go scouts. And look at Doubt, he's full walling really fast. This is something that kind of it's becoming more of a like as I guess like as the meta progresses, as we play more games, people are recognizing how important it is to early wall. And so that's why I think like walling with 2 bills these days is really common. Or at least more common than it was before. Maybe it always was this case in tryhard games, I guess, in tournament games, show matches. But this is like really good from Doubt. Because he's going to be able to do damage with his scouts because he's up faster. And he's going to take 0 damage guaranteed at home. Because he's going to be fully walled by the time you get there. You're doing a good job though. What you're doing is exactly what you need to be doing. You can't match his scouts. He has more HP and faster uptime. So 2 spears and then already walling. At this point, never move out with scouts in my opinion. Never move out with scouts. I think this is really risky. If Doubt is a more aggressive player, he can actually just run in Spearman. And then your scouts are in no man's land. I think moving out here is super risky. Let's see what you can do. You might go unpunished, and you might actually be able to get a villager, but I think that's...
I agree with him. Yeah, I just felt like my opening was so tight that I could afford it.
I don't know about this move. I'd say defending is a little bit better in this case. Let's see what you can do. Okay, so he's got 5 scouts now. He might actually just dive the 2 spearmen. Franks are way better. Okay, and when I say never do this, I don't mean never move out with your scouts. I mean if you're up later than your opponent and you don't really know where your opponent's scouts are, and you're not fully walled, then don't think I'd recommend moving out. Actually, in this case, it might actually be worth it. But he has a spearman to defend anyway. But the problem is he has much more potential. Like he has potential to do more damage to you. First of all, you don't even know if he's fully walled or not. You just kind of got lucky in this case. But again, just because it pays off now, it doesn't mean it's a good move in general. And yeah, so A, you don't even know if you can do damage. You don't know if he's fully walled or not. And then B, he has more potential to do damage because he has more scouts and more HP. So I think what's going to end up happening now, if I had to like guess the next couple minutes, is that you're probably going to get no villagers because he has the spearman on the way. And then you might end up actually just running back. But by that point, he's going to kill these 2 spearmen and either kill this vill or run into the back of your eco and get some damage.
Also, the spearmen shouldn't be here at the front. They should be more defending in this area, I believe. because now it's so much easier to pass for him, and my spearmen are just way further away from home.
That's what I predict is going to happen. Let's see. And the reason is, if you had your scouts here, he can never do this. But since your scouts are AFK, then he actually has a window. Let's see what you can do. You get maybe one villager, you trade one scout for it so far, trading half a second scout, and okay, you save the villager, but now he's into the eco, and now you're forced to react with spearmen. So, like I said, I think it's actually a better case scenario than it could have been. You could have gotten fully walled out. If that was fully walled, you could have gotten wrecked. But now he's in the eco with stronger scouts. So you got one villager, and he has potential to do way more damage than that. And at the very least, he can just waste his scouts for one village as well. So at the very least, he can do what he did to you. Or sorry, what you did to him. And he's probably going to get one villager. I don't understand Doubt's movements here. He should go for a villager, yeah. He's playing very safe with the scouts. If anything, I think he should go for a villager, but... I mean, look at the damage it's done to you. You had to make an extra 4 spearmen. 4 spearmen. Lost the scouts. Yeah. Is this really worth one villager? And the chance to get one villager, because you didn't know you're going to get it. And he might even respond with a villager now. Yeah, he's going to respond. He should just go for it. He should commit to this one. Yeah, there we go. And so, this is exactly what I thought was going to happen. He has just a stronger rush. But you're fine. As Chinese, you don't mind just like surviving the early game for strength. Keep in mind, this is their civ strength to have a better early game. So why are you trying to force damage if you know they have a better early game? And again, I think that you got a better trade than what you would get most of the time. Most of the time, the guy would be fully walled or be able to quick wall his vill or whatever. You know, Doubt's map was actually pretty bad in this case. He had a spearman, so he knew what he was doing, clearly. But yeah, like you guys traded one village each, but you were forced to make an extra 4 spearmen for the same amount of scouts, pretty much. But both made like 4 or 5 scouts. Okay, so that's definitely one thing in the feudal age. Know your civ strength. Don't try to force damage. You don't need to get damage to win. Sometimes all you have to do is survive the early game if they have the stronger one. And
that's something I know, but never do. You don't need to do damage to win. That's so weird. That's a concept I don't really have. But that's basically from the first coaching session. I'm still trying to learn this.
And you put yourself in a good position. Like the win condition here with Chinese is that mid to late game where they become significantly stronger than Franks. You just have to survive early feudal age and then early castle age. That's Frank's biggest strength. After that, they kind of fall off in 1v1. Okay, so now Doubt has a good lead. He's going to the castle age faster because obviously he's going to do scouts into knights most likely here. And he obviously did way more damage. So now you're scrambling. You're trying to attack him with a lot of spears and archers. But with this forward map, you're going to die in castle age. He's probably going to forward siege you from this hill with 2 stable knights, and you're going to die in early castle age. Why? Because that's where Franks are stronger than Chinese. And that's normal. And you also took extra damage in feudal age. So already it was a tough defense for you. You made it a lot harder by moving out with your scouts. And I knew it was a bad idea as soon as you moved out as well. And like I said, even though you got one villager, that's lucky. I don't think you get that most of it. And you want to make moves that make sense over 100 games, not over 1 or 2 games. Okay, so now you're pushing out. I mean, it's not the end of the world still. It's probably still winnable for you, of course. Have to like wall up the front, maybe get an outpost out or some vision, or maybe patrol some archers just to know what's happening, because I do think forward siege is a possibility for him. He doesn't have to do it, but it's a possibility. Punish your golds. But yeah, otherwise you're kind of fine. So you're gonna go up to castle age now, and you have a really well balanced economy. I have to say the build order is looking pretty clean. Aside, of course, from the forced to make 4 extra spearmen. Let's fast forward a little bit because nothing really is happening. Attacking the stables, I think. Yeah, I mean, even if you attack a palisade, you're not going to really get any damage done. He's going to go for monastery. He actually opts to not go for forward siege. He opts to just play from home. Monastery and eco upgrade instead. That's fine. Again, that's just a personal preference from him. He could do either, and I think it would be fine. And honestly, if I had to pick, I'd probably still pick your position. Why? Because you still have that mid to late game advantage that Chinese gives you. I don't know what you're doing in the second gate. I mean, it's not really going to do much, but yeah. I'm just not a huge fan of gates in general. I think they're too expensive for what they give. And you're going to go for the town center. Okay. Camel. Why?
Against
Why do you
knights?
feel the need to waste resources all the time? So it's making an extra. Let's see what this camel does. Why do you feel the need to waste resources all the time? whether it's making an extra. Let's see what this camel does. These camels pay off, I would be very surprised. I mean, I understand. They're gonna give you the confidence to move out now, because now you have 2 camels, you're feeling like you're hipster. You know, it's not just 1 unit, they got 2, packing heat, but, I mean, he has the monks to convert them anyways. And the crossbows can do just fine moving out on their own, so, again, just a little bit of wasting resources. And now he's gonna go up to the town center approach. So, okay, your 2 town center, we'll keep an eye on the build count. We have a lead now. I'm not sure if that's wheelbarrow or not. But I don't know. I think you can probably do the same with just without the camels. Let the camels provide that much. Okay.
Isn't he wrecking me with full knights then?
I'd much rather a monastery than the camel play.
I can see that. Yeah. But crossbow alone feels
out.
wild.
He's still waiting on the third. Probably the third one out here would make a lot of sense. Ooh, no. This very heavily disagree here. This is a really bad move. Because your whole problem with the map, the whole dilemma here is your golds. So why not get a TC out here to secure an extra gold away from these 2? What's going to end up happening now is I fear you might get a little bit cramped on space. And maybe not able to contest this gold later if you don't have a town center here. So we'll keep an eye on that. I think that's a big mistake. See what happens. He will win this fight, camels or not anyways here. So the camels, in my opinion, are just a waste of resources. Yeah, I mean, even trades. At this point, he should just back up. He should be happy with what he got. Back up and heal. Yeah, the camels are doing absolutely nothing. You bought yourself a cheerleading team here as well. He should back up though. He's playing bad here, I think. He's misplaying. He should have backed up a long time ago. I don't know why he's wasting his nets. Honestly, okay. I really hope that this small amount of like success that you're getting with these camels is not gonna cloud your judgment in the future, because Doubt doesn't have to fight this at all. He can run back and camp with monks and knights forever, and just take like trade, go back and heal. Just because he's forcing fights doesn't mean that your move is. Oh, that was a really fast conversion from him. Just because he's forcing fights doesn't mean it's a good move from you, because you're making a unit that you have 0 upgrades on. I don't know, and you're investing so much into it. You're making so many of them. I don't know. I'm not a fan of this, to be honest. I can kind of see the idea with the first 2 just to move out, even though I don't like it. But then investing this much into it now is a bit suspicious. I don't know. I think camels are kind of weird units. But I think that knights and monks are better than camel or crossbow most of the time, unless you want to go full castle age. But that's a different story.
My macro's really bad behind
at this point, you might as well just get armor on them. Why not? You might as well just go heavy for full castle age and try to pressure.
See, like he's producing out of 3 TCs. I'm not producing out of a single one.
Like I said, I think that's a different story. That's something you can justify. But if your plan is to go for Arbalest, which I think it should be the plan, most of the time it's going to destroy Franks, then you shouldn't make any camels, or you should make like max 2, if any. Again, I'm really not a fan of it, as you can tell. But now that you're committing to it, I think I want to see a forward siege as well. Like, commit to the strategy. Okay, the strategy is you want the map and castle age. You're also mining stones, so you might want a forward castle one day. You have a hill here. Why don't you go for forward siege and monastery? Okay, the monastery's out. Forward siege would be nice now. Okay, even villagers, and actually the score is really in your favor. I'm not sure why that is. I guess you have more military, right? Yeah, you just have a really good position on the map. I mean, you have more scouting and stuff, but it seems like you have more military and had a smoother game so far. That definitely took some weird trades. You should get foraging now on these knights. Again, your camels, at this point, you need to get upgrades on your camels. You have so many of them that it's obviously worth it, right? Like, if this is the play you want to go for, then definitely commit to it with upgrades. And you have the resources for it. Again, forward siege is another option you should consider. Ballistics coming in now, which is good. Definitely a fan of that. And you're mining a lot of stone. Now, let's see what happens. I actually struggle to see how you can lose it from this position. I think you're gonna have to take a really bad fight.
I will show him.
Honestly, if you lose this, it's probably it's gonna be because of your lack of upgrades. Because that's gonna go full castle age knights most likely now. To try and clean up your army. That's the only way I see him really coming back from this is to take a really good fight in castle age. The only way that happens is if you're lacking upgrades on camels. Let's see, he's getting forging now.
Oh, this is so bad.
This
is so bad.
Interesting decision.
Oh.
And that's probably because you didn't go for forward siege. You gave him time to do this. Imagine if you had a forward siege like 3 minutes ago.
Okay, I don't want to show you this. Let's go into the other scene. I don't want to show you what's happening.
And then you can actually start pressuring his town center and stable and shit.
Just kidding.
Because you have the army, right? Commit to your strategy. If you want to invest in so much army, might as well invest into forward siege. It's not much. It's not much. It gets you your next building that you need. I mean, you already have it to the university.
Look at, I'm even knowing I need
It gets
to
you an
wall
important
this.
building, and it gets you map control and the ability to push you further. I do like that you're aware, though. You're aware that this is a possibility. Okay, nice try with the quick wall. You have the camels here to defend anyway, though. And these guys should be upgraded. Knights beat camels with this upgrade, by the way. Knights will destroy the camels. If this fights, I'm sure the Knights will win. In fact, if that clicks, I would actually just patrol into it right now. If that clicks your army.
I have no idea how I
Away
overchopped
from the
there
TC
as well.
fire, of course. Let's see the fight. He's under your town center. You can't even fight it. You know you're gonna lose it. The question is, why make all these camels if you can't even take a fight against Knights? Oh, letting him escape here is so bad. Oh, he literally gave you the game, actually. If you killed this army, you would have absolutely you would absolutely won. Oh, this is so awkward. You have so much wood.
Look at how did I overchop here? Look at how all the villagers are positioned. How did one villager decide to exactly get that one tree? I knew it was close there. I knew the knights were trapped.
After you get raided, check your idols. Always the next step. For everyone watching as well. If you get raided, obviously you're gonna have idols. Everyone's gonna have idols after. Just check them. You get them set up. All right, good job, Nilly.
It was closed earlier.
Good.
I even checked
I have
it
enough for a castle.
in this one.
Alright, you're finally getting upgrades on the camels. Prioritizing attack, not sure why. Armor should definitely be the priority here. But this is not one of those exceptions where attack is better. Looks like he's getting better trades now, man. Now you're letting him split you up. He's got knights in the back, sniping a monk. He's healing the monks back home as well. You let him escape with 10 knights here. I mean, that's... I'm not going to knock you too much for it, because that's a mistake that can happen to anyone. Obviously, you didn't mean to do that, but... Not this hill. I guess this hill overlooks. This hill is kind of overlooking this hill, so I guess this castle's fine. I don't mind. Now you're gonna go out for this gold. You know what the problem is now? You're stuck between two units. Now you don't know what to make. Should I make camels? Should I make arbalest? Both? That seems very costly. And it's such a simple game if you just go arbalest to Halb. Like crossbow into monks. Into Halb is such a free win versus Franks, you have no idea. That's why I'm so against the camels, because in my opinion, you made the game so much harder. And I know you might be thinking like, okay, or some people might be thinking rather, like, okay, camels obviously counter knights, so it seems like a logical step. But you're investing so much into it that delays your Imperial Age time to the point where now he can actually catch up. He's just the same, same time to Imperial Age. And now, again, I keep mentioning it, you're split between two units. I actually don't know what I'd commit for here. Do you want to commit Arbalest or Heavy Camel? If you do both, you can't afford it. If you do one or the other, then you just have a weaker army than if you just had pure Arbalest. And then you're not really following the logical transition as well, which is the one gold unit, one food unit that most people would go for. I mean, it's very rare that you want to go for two gold unit composition. This is not one of the cases. That I don't think you need to do double gold versus Franks. So it's much better to just go crossbows, monks, castle age, take no damage whatsoever. He goes forward siege, you just defend with your siege. Or guard tower, or whatever you need to do. And then you just get to Arbalest, Castle Age, or Imperial Age, and then you transition to Halb. What's wrong with that? Like, what's wrong? He has Cavalier now, and we know he's gonna have Cavalier. I knew from minute one. You knew from minute one that he's gonna go Cavalier. Now you're mixing Chukunu. You're really bringing a third unit into this, Lily. I was having trouble getting on board with 2 units. Now you're bringing a third unit. It's early imp. You don't have time to make transitions now. Now you want to upgrade the units you've been massing forever. Why are you transitioning now to Chukunu? That makes 0 sense. Okay, cast on the hill. That's something I like. Is there any other hill you could have taken? Not really. This one's a bit out of play. That's the next castle, I'd say. The late game to secure both gold. Fine. I mean, the one problem for you is this hill. You don't want him to get this hill, but you don't necessarily want it yourself. I mean, you do to trap this castle, but then he has this hill as well. So this hill, you don't really want a castle here. You want Trebs here, most likely. Okay, now bye-bye to the camels that we spent half of Castle Age massing for some reason. You can now see where the fault is, right? You made them for Castle Age, get you some sort of advantage, and you didn't really get an advantage. In fact, he gifted you his army at one point, and you continue to capitalize there with the camels. I really like this in Doubt, by the way. The vision he's getting from these outposts is sick. Jason this relic as well. Yeah, Arbalest Bracer. Okay, these 5 chicken no. Okay, I thought you're gonna make a hard transition into chicken no. I guess you just made 5. I guess it's no big deal. It's just the mindset I wanna understand here of why you're feeling the need to mix in units like this. And now you're getting the trebs out. I mean, I still like your position. I still think Chinese late game is way better. But look at this. Delta has a 20 villager lead from where? He had a 4 town center, right? He only went 3. For some reason you stopped making those. And now you're gonna go for halberdier? But now it's so much more complicated. Why? Because you wasted so much resources on camels. Ah, this is so bad to see, man. This matchup is so free, you have no idea. Like, there's a reason we don't see Franks in competitive play. Can't do anything in late game. And it's just 1 unit. And I've lost to Franks before. I remember a game I was playing versus Viper once where I was Mines and he was Franks and he went for boom into Paladins and he overran my halbs because I tried to do some random shit in Castle Age as well. But again, I think just playing it simple versus Franks, trying to go for that Imperial Age where you know you have the halb, Arbalest, Castle and Hills. Paladins are really lackluster units in 1v1s. Let's see what Dow's gonna do. He's just gonna go full Paladins and destroy you pretty much because you don't really have a solid transition. He's catching you on the transition, whereas you should be faster. You should be fast enough. But he's catching you on the transition because you're so slow doing it. Now the Trebs are doing nothing because he has Cavalier here. 4 looks close, but the game is over. Look at his population. 156. He has full map control. He has the better units. Because again, you don't have the halberdier ready. And your economy is dead. Game is over. Yeah. I don't know. I really want to see your justification for the Campbells in Castle Age. Again, I think the first 2 is a mistake, but I can see there's some justification for the first two or 3, because you want to move out, try to do some damage. But then you made a couple, you moved out, then you went back, you tried to hit a monk or 2, went back, continued massing the camels for some reason. And then, okay, in that case I said, okay, maybe your plan is to push in Castle Age, I can get behind that. You didn't end up doing that either. It just seemed like you massed camels for no reason. Okay, and look at this! How an Arbalest, and somehow now, oh wow, you're winning the game. Somehow, wow, who would have thought, right?
49 villagers.
With his composition. But now the problem is that you're just so far behind.
Against 140.
50 villagers, right? I mean, I don't mean to sound condescending here. That's really not what I want to do here. But I just want to make you see how obvious, or make you see how obvious it is from the start, right? Like you're able to think about this really from the start of the game that this is going to be the winning composition, and just cut the shit in Castle Age pretty much. Cut the useless stuff. And now he will go skirmishers, even though Frank's skirms are really bad. But since he has such a big lead, he will actually be fine. Yeah, he's even taking this gold. He's got the hill and stuff. Like, imagine if you had this composition, but now all of a sudden you're 200 pop and you have a castle in this hill as well. Like, imagine if you didn't take all this eco damage, but you managed to get into this kind of composition. Okay. I mean, I still think this game is over. We can probably still fast forward. I know, like I said, I know it sounds a bit harsh. But when I'm looking at this from a caster perspective or from like watching a rec, you're playing well, but you're just doing really weird decisions. Like every time it came to a micro fights, I think you did fine. Like the trades, I think Dalt was taking the bad trades actually. But then you're just having like really, you didn't really know what the plan was, even though the plan was quite simple in this case. Our blessed Halb. Yeah, I don't even know like what to tell you about this other than just think about the matchup a bit more in depth. Okay, let's recap. You did make one mistake in Feudal Age. You did move out with scouts, even though, and again, it comes down from the same root mistake, which is not understanding the matchup. Let's think about it logically. When are Franks getting their big bonuses? Their big bonuses come in Feudal Age, where they have the berry bonus in the Dark Age, so they get a really fast Feudal Age. Extra scout HP seems really good, and free horse scholar. So Feudal Age, big power spike for Franks. Okay, let's play defensive. Let's not take any damage. Let's just survive. We're playing as Chinese. We're coming off a decent Dark Age, but we're still behind in early Feudal Age. Chinese still doesn't really pay off at that point. You have the extra villager, but you're still kind of behind in resources with a slower uptime. So the plan should just be to defend, which you can do easily with this kind of build, scouts and spears. Once you survive the Feudal Age, we get into Castle Age. Now Franks gets a second kind of power spike with their free bloodline. So they have the potential to go for a lot of knights, maybe for siege. They have some options now. Okay, once again, Chinese probably has to play defensive. Let's play crossbows and monks. Okay, why monks? Monks, can convert the knights. Crossbows can It's obviously your main unit that you want to mass and you want to put pressure on the map with. And then if he goes forward siege, you have the stable to mix in a couple knights. Then you want to contest it, because then he's investing in feudal age, or sorry, in castle age. You also invest in castle age. Okay, then we go to imperial age. Now Frank starts to fall off. They have only one play in imperial age or late castle age. Either he goes for late castle knights, which won't work if you have a castle. You might still at the perfect time, by the way. This castle came at the perfect time. So he goes all in knights. You just literally camp 40 expo here. He can't hit. You wall the sides. Bam, you get Arbalest. He loses. Okay, if he goes for imp at a normal time with a castle, which is what he went for. Okay, then you're both up to imp around the same time with similar economy. He might even be ahead a little bit, which I don't think is the case, but he might be ahead. We'll give him the benefit of the doubt. He did a better boom. You're still playing with a way better composition. Arbalest into halberdiers with trebs to get the castles, and then you have your own castles and halberdiers patrolling to secure your base. Then you can start expanding. He has only one unit still. He can only do paladin. And even the skirm transition is terrible now. Like, Frank's skirms are so bad. So if you just survived the early game, didn't do anything weird in castle, just played standard, you cover all the possibilities of getting pushed, and then you just get into imperial age where now Chinese is favored by so much. And then after the Arbalest and halberdier, you have siege rams, you have chukanus, you have light cav. You have better light cav than him even. You know? So it's just like, I don't know. The matchup is so simple on paper, and you just made it a lot more complicated than it had to be. You tried to do too much in feudal age with moving out with the scouts, and in castle age with the camels. You tried to do too much. You didn't realize just how simple it was. All right, let's go back. And like I said, he had 5 relics at the end there. That's a big yikes as well. If behind, oh no, you had 5 relics. Wait, did you have 5 relics? I think, yeah, you picked up relic. You had 5 relics as well. That's a big yikes for him. So imagine, you're doing so many things right. You're picking up the relics, you had a decent economy, and you're taking better trades in castle age. You see how big a mistake the camels were at this point? Yeah, you had a much better setup than he did. Much better setup than he did. Alright, let's go to game 3.
Ay. Tough stuff. Okay, that was it on YouTube, guys. Hope you enjoyed the content. If you want to see the full series, link down below.